Lochgelly in Fife, home of the Tars and formerly the centre of the Fife coal industry. I'm here at the Lochgelly Centre to see an exhibition celebrating the life and work of Cardenden dramatist and playwright Joe Corrie, 1894 to 1905. The exhibition is called Hewers o' Coal and Verse. But there's more. Round the was, there's illustrations for a book called The Sair Road. Illustrations by Les McConnell, and the book was written by Lochgelly writer William Hershaw and was launched to coincide with the Joe Corrie exhibition. I've arranged to meet Willie and Les down at the Owl Pit Head at the Mary Colliery, Lochore Meadows Country Park, just outside Lochgelly. First, more about Joe Corrie.
Joe Corrie was born in 1894. He was a miner. He was forced to go down the pit when he was only 14 years old to become the breadwinner for the family. He educated himself going to night classes, and during the 1926 miners' strike he began to write in Time of Strife, his famous play, which really established him as a major playwright. He also wrote poetry as well, and he wrote songs.
Right. So how did he get into publishing? Was there an immediate success for that?
No, originally he wrote a column for the Miners' Reform newspaper, but it took him a wee while to become established. When he had completed In Time of Strife, he sent it to Glasgow to the reading committee of the Scottish National Players. The chairman of the National Players was James Bridie, and they rejected In Time of Strife. So undeterred, he formed his own theatre company, the Bowhill Players.
So that's what we saw in the exhibition case, you know, the dance case.
Aye.
The Bowhill Players, and there was books in there referring to the book.
That's
There's
right.
a photograph of the Bowhill Players, wasn't it?
Yeah, looking like a bunch of gangsters, you know. But they were miners too. They were Joe's family and Joe's neighbours for the Miners' Rolls. And they took his play and they performed it around the mining villages of Fife, at the various village halls and Gothenburg pubs. And it was there that Hugh Ogilvie, who was a theatrical impresario, caught the play and saw its potential and made Joe an offer. And they took it on tour, initially across Scotland, playing all the big theatres from Aberdeen all the way down to Dumfries. And it was a big hit.
You said Joe Corrie play.
Okay.
Fatiguing ID first.
Well, I could read The Licht of the Moon, which is a lovely
That's
romantic.
a gentle one, it's romantic, isn't it?
It is. The Licht of the Moon. The reapers sang among the corn had all the day been heard, and cotter folk had wauchled hame wi' heavy step and tired. But no a weary thocht had I hurried on my shoon, and gaed to meet my Mary by the licht of the moon. The hills were veiled a misty grey, and a bonny blue the sky, and dancing like a jewelled queen the burn gaed lilting by. But joy aboon it was all mine and Mary's in a broon, as hond in hond we lingered by the licht of the moon. We wandered for that bonny nicht, yet little did we say. Our hearts were yin in honest love. What mair can mortals say? Oh, till the crimson sun of life ayont the hills gaze doon, I'll mind that nicht with Mary by the licht of the moon.
Beautiful.
It is. It's a very, very tender poem, lyric. But there was another side to Corrie's work too, and he could capture the harsh aspects of mining life and living in a mining community.
I think we should just describe what we're looking at here and establish where we are at, really. Fits the name of this.
Well, aye, we're sitting in a very appropriate place. This is right behind us is the Mary Pit, or what's left of the pit head. We're in Lochore Country Park, known locally as the Meadeys.
The Meadeys.
Aye, the meadows. Which is land that was reclaimed for the mining industry in the 1970s. And apart from a few things, you really wouldn't know that now. It's all been grassed over and it's lovely now.
It is, it's a bonny place. Right, for Joe Corrie, of course, you took the opportunity, or the opportunity was there to launch your new book.
Aye.
Now then, tell us about your new book.
Well, the book's directly influenced by Joe Corrie. It's called The Sair Road, and it's a collaboration between me and the Kinghorn artist Les McConnell.
Right. We're going to be joined by Les in a minute, I think.
It's fantastic, and what it is the Stations of the Cross, the medieval Stations of the Cross, written in Scots and transformed into the Fife mining world of the 20th century.
So there's 14 Stations of the Cross, and Jesus appears in every single issue, every single station. Mm-hmm. Is it all disasters, accidents, when he's needed? Yeah, I mean, a lot is to do with the various political disputes and the trials and tribulations that the Fife mining communities had to put up with in the 20th century. So it starts really at the turn of the century with the Donnybristle pit disaster, when the moss collapsed just outside Cowdenbeath, and it takes you right through to the Lindsay pit disaster in 1957, when there was an explosion, right up to the kind of end game, which was the 84, the Thatcher strike, which killed the mining industry off in this area. Can I read just a little bit here? I've got Derek McClure's words, the renowned Scots scholar. He writes in his notes for your book, "Your book evokes the downfall, or rather the planned and systematic destruction of Scotland's mining industry in plain, authentic Scots." It's Fife mining Scots, isn't it?
Yes, aye, it is. Well, it's the language that I grew up with. It's the language that both my grandfathers, who were miners, spoke. It's the language you heard in the shops and in the streets. Really, and you still do. Mm-hmm. You still do hear it.
Religion still plays a big part in fishing communities, does it? Or does it still play a big part in the mining communities?
Not so much, because there is no longer a mining industry. And I think religion here's like religion everywhere. It is dying out a wee bit, But it did play a big part. But it did play a big part, aye. I mean, I suppose it was an industry and a job that required a lot of faith.
I remember you telling me that story about someone you kent that worked doing the mine, and he had 2 books with him, and he read it with the light of his head torch, and the 2 books were. Can you remember that story?
Aye, well, that was a story I heard about my grandfather at his funeral. That one of his cronies came up to me and said, "I ken where you get your poetry from." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he says, "Well, your grandfather at peacetime used to always bring out his copy of Rabbi Burns or a Bible and read it."
Was that grandfather?
Aye. And that came as a big surprise to me, because I'd never seen him open a book, in my whole life. But I think education was valued by the miners, because it was such a rotten job that they saw it as a means of escape. So there was a great store put on education, which a lot of them had been denied.
Now, on a minute now, we're going to be joined. I can see Les coming up the pathway there. We're going to be joined by your illustrator, Les McConnell.
Aye.
But if I could ask you to jump a few stations, maybe in the religious, or jump a few stations, go into number 6, read that in from. You've got the book handy.
I do.
Number 6. There's Les. You want to join us, Les? Thanks for coming up.
Here we go. Station 6. Aye, Les. Jesus tacks up his cross. Jesus the hour seer chapped on the owner's door. There is nae air down there, nae ventilation. The men are choke it with the heat and stour. The boss looked up from his big desk and said, "Tak this stout pole along the stye wheel brae, to where the earth aboon is soft but dreich. There, ye maun stare to big another shaft. sae caller air maun circulate the pit. This isna wise advice, as you will ken. Aboon ligs moss, brown water, muck and peat that will pour down on top of us. We'll droon aneath a fell onding. We'll droon in day. It's safe enough, it's been surveyed, I swear. There is nae water there in August month. Nae rain has fallen for weeks. It's for much dark, siller fuss to dig doonwise. Day it. This is a working mine, no charity. Think we'll on bairns and how they fare in life will laid off workless feathers on the brew.
To the point, getting to the point, but just talking another route to it as well, Willie. Okay, Les, Willie asked you to do the illustrations. Did you get a lot of guidance? I say this with a slight smile on my voice.
No, I would say there was collaboration, but there was no collusion. No, Willie appeared one day, said he had a wee project, which I thought
a wee project, right.
a wee project, and just presented me with the verses and so on. So I sat down and started to read, and of course it took me a wee while to get into it. But once I'd read, I think it was Early Doors, you know, I felt more. Yeah, it was right at the start where Jesus is talking to the strikers, and that sort of made me feel a lot more comfortable. My father was 23 when the general strike started, and he ended up having to go to the States to get work. And then I thought, it was only 20 years before I was born, so there was links all the way through. And I used to watch my father coming home from work in the 50s wearing his bonnet and his dirty face. So that got me started. So I emailed the first image to Willie, and he was quite happy. And from there, once I read through, well, it gave me confidence that I was on the right lines. And after that,
I think
images jumped off the page, really.
More on the right lines. I've been doing to the Lochgelly Centre and had seen the exhibition. It's a great exhibition, Les. I mean,
thank you.
You've captured something in the illustrations that complements the text. It's an exhibition, I think, that should be seen by a lot of more folk than just in Fife. Have you ever thought about touring the exhibition?
Well, I think it's going to move on to the Scottish Poetry Library in September.
Oh, that is good news.
And we're going to, the Bow Hill Players, the modern day Bow Hill Players are going to play a gig there, because there's a CD as well, and as well as a book, and they were looking forward to that.
For the last reading, Willie, I wonder if you could do the last messages. This is the section, or the Station of the Cross, that just about had me in tears. Explain the story behind the section 10.
Aye, this poem is based on the previously mentioned Donnybristle disaster, and when the miners were trapped by the flow of moss underneath the pit, and couldn't get back up, and they knew that they were unlikely to be rescued, and they left messages for their loved ones in chalk on the walls of the mine. So really it didn't take an awful lot of work, this one. I really just put down what they actually said at the time, but they're very, very moving, the messages that they left. Station 10, last messages. Elaine and Dork, with airless hours to thole, he screevit words with chalk on coal black walls. Feared and cold, thirsty and famished, he wrote. Soon I'm on cross a river deep and wide, yet ad you lose it's a RICHT earth on side. I'll tryst again with all my fears o'er there, and we'll laugh at all this trochel we had here. Until then, I ask of ye, wee jockey mate, to take care of my mother, gin ye mind. She is the gentlest woman, meek and kind. Look out for her dear comrades, and serve them well. Tak tent yourself, and screeve down our gospel tale.
Right, this is the last bit, and it's the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes that, again, you've captured something else in here that we'll just listen to it and hear what it sounds like.
Well, I hope so. This should cover just about everybody. Spare me nae beatitudes. Blessed are the shilpit of spirit. They'll jig wi' angels in the kinrick of heaven. Blessed are all thone who have been stoon by death, for their dear ains will gie them a braw cuddle. Blessed are the harmless. They'll stravage the earth, never blate. Blessed are them wi' a DROUTH for RICHT. They will get Uncle Foo. Blessed are all them who thole and forgie. Their mercy will be weel-minded. Blessed are the sained o' heart. They'll get to sit down to their supper with God. Blessed are the peacemakers. God's leal bairns will hae jam on their breed. Blessed are all them no mentioned. You're all RICHT, so dinna be feared.
I'll repeat that line again. Blessed.
Blessed.
We are DROUTH for RICHT.
Aye.
That's a good one. It's like somebody said to me the other day, tell the meek it's changed, they're not going to get on with it.
Oh, we can only hope.
You can only hope. Oh,
Aye.
you can, Les, Willie, had a super session that is. And the exhibition is on till the 8th of August. And where can folk get hold of your book? First of all, where's it published by?
It's published by Grace Note Publications, and you can get a hold of it through the usual outlets on the Bowhill Players Facebook, at the Lochgelly Centre.
And you on Amazon as well?
And on Amazon, yeah.
Yeah. Right, as I said, gentlemen, thank you for a great session. And the exhibition, your illustrations, Les, fantastic.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Frieda.